Welcome, everyone, to another recording of my podcast, The Melancholy Guy. I'd like to welcome you to the podcast. This is The Melancholy Guy, a companion podcast to my Tumblr blog, The Melancholy Guy, daring to be daring to be black, open, and free. The ventures of a divorced, open, polyamorous African male. I am the Melancholy Guy, Calvin, or if you really know me, CPJR. Welcome to the 4th episode, and gonna get right into it. Basically, this podcast is pretty much for me, about me, talking about my journey into ethical non-monogamy, polyamory. Around about the year of, since the year of 2010 when I got heavily involved into that. After really getting into my second marriage and finding out that I personally am probably not built for monogamy. So went through a lot of things about that. I've discussed some of that in the first 2 episodes. And actually, I want to just jump right back into a couple things that I've noticed from our previous 3 episodes already. 3. Woohoo. I know that sometimes if you listen to this one, it may be a bit hard to understand me. I am taking note of that, how I need to enunciate better. I need to slow down, make sure I'm not saying for one thing, and not tripping over my words or slurring my words or now enunciating the words that I am trying to use and to get you to understand what I'm attempting to convey. So I thank you for bearing through that. This is a learning curve. I'm trying to learn how to podcast. I learned to learn how to broadcast, how to get my message across, so that I can one day produce others and also produce better product, better podcasts to help enlighten people about the things that I believe that are making my life better, will make my life better, and help some of the things that I've gone through go better or be better. So that's basically it. So I want to just jump into, where I left off last time in my blog. I think I was talking about how this blog came about after my second marriage. I had a previous blog before I was married that I was writing, and I was in a little, blogger community, and I forget what it was hosted on. But basically, it was about my life too, and when I look at this blog, I can see that I mainly am driven to write when I'm unhappy or discontent, and it seems that that's what I express. Now, if I go back to the first entries of this blog, it seems that I started to write 7 years ago. I think it was before that. I said already that I know there was a name change, and there probably was some deleted entries of some things that actually I know it was a long time before that. There was some deleted entries that I didn't want out. Probably went out in public in the way that they were written. And I do, like I say, work on IT, and I did work on some classified information. And sometimes the information that was on there shouldn't be out in public. And the way that I put it out there. Now, that's also a way for me to hide from some things. Like I said, this blog is cathartic for me. Helps me to remain conscious. Help me to, get the things out that I need to get out. So one thing I wanted to address about this blog that actually, I don't know if you remember Google Plus when it first came out I was back on 2011. But when Google Plus came out, I was I got on Google Plus and got into some really good communities that were sparking some good conversation that I didn't see on Facebook at the time. Some good habits. There were a lot of writers, a lot of IT people, a lot of entrepreneurs on Google Plus. And one of the things that this guy that I had bumped into was talking about 30-day challenges, like doing something different in your life every day for 30 days. And I think one of the first challenges, and it's funny, I listen to Twit now, I'll talk about that. But one of the first challenges that I gave to myself was to actually do an entry in this blog, one entry every day for 30 days. So that bulked up the blog a lot and helped me actually write. Now, what I was writing about seems to be how I was discontent in my marriage and I was discontent with monogamy. And I don't know if many people haven't thought about it. For me, monogamy wasn't that I couldn't date, see other women, have sex with other women, all this type of thing. It's the relationships. It's having to answer to someone else who you're committed to questions about every outside relationship that you have. There has to be a reason for you to have those relationships outside of your marriage, right? Because basically the marriage must be protected above all. So therefore, anything that any person in the relationship perceive as a possible threat or damaging to the relationship, or they feel insecure about a relationship, they have a right to question you and a right to request that you either end that relationship or change that relationship. They have veto power, basically, over you and your relationships. And for me, I feel as though that can stifle your growth, and it also can build resentment, and it can also create regret. And I don't know, for a person like me who naturally just had a lot of resentment because of issues that I've had in my life and regret, that just builds up. And that's just something that I seem to just latch on to and will take that out on the significant other, my wife at the time, or other relationship or situationship that I'm in. So that's a danger for me. So that's something that I watch out for. So that seems to be the first year, because I'm noticing that the year started back in 2007. Now that were the entries my discontent on marriage. I had a resentment towards towards monogamy, towards marriage, and it was really, really building. And I know that I was using the blog at the time, Melancholy Guy, that's how I took its name, to vent that and show that. And one thing, an interesting thing, I remember my ex-wife, my second wife, asking me at the time, do I think it would be a good idea for us to go into therapy? And I said no, because for me at the time, like, we can communicate. If we can't communicate, then I think we need therapy. Therapists, I believed at the time, can help us communicate. And I didn't understand at the time that our problem with communication was that we were speaking different languages. She knew what she wanted out of marriage when she first got married, when we first got married, and my desires were ever evolving. They were changing. Okay, I think I'm down to less than 4 minutes. And I just want to just talk on one thing because here we go on the countdown. You only have 15 minutes, and I was really into it just right now. It was interesting when I first started this. I didn't think I would be able to come up with things that I want to talk about, but it seems that once I get to flowing, I flow. So, my life right now. Yesterday was Thanksgiving. My plans were greatly altered. I spent some of the day with my daughter. Most of the day I spent alone, cooked for myself. And I'm spending the holidays by myself. I just posted about that, holidays moving forward. And this is going to be a time of reflection for me. I had big plans, big plans for the holiday. I had my ex-girlfriend visiting me up here. I was flying out of town to spend Christmas with her, and then we were going to New Orleans for New Year's Eve. All that crashed. I basically left my job, and boom, here we are. Now I'm going to take this time to reflect and really think about my desires, my purpose moving forward. I'm grateful for this time. I needed this time, and I'm not going to let this time go to waste. It seems that, if taking this time to really just get resentful and mad and, fearful, you don't have your job, you get fearful, things like that, money shortages and stuff like that. But I had to get to this point. No, if you know anything about my story or who I am or what I've been through, I had to get to this point in order to move forward. And more about that later. The next podcast is on Monday. I don't know what I'll be writing about. I think I have a couple ideas of things I need to hash out in my own head. But I want to just say I'll be doing my shows on a schedule of Monday, Wednesday, Friday evenings, hopefully. And I want to give my podcast locations. I'm posting them on Spreaker.com. The Melancholy Guy. I think you can do a search SoundCloud. The Melancholy Guy. I think you also can do a search there. And I cross post on the blog, themelancholyguy.com and SoundCloud. I think that's it. Facebook. Well, I'm not really on Facebook, and I'll talk about that more about social media and what I think about that, and especially when it involves the non-monogamy world and dating and all that kind of stuff, and why I felt the need to drop my presence. Also, in the music I get from bensound.com, I want to give that credit as requested. The music I know is royalty free, and I want to try to keep the podcast as legit as possible. Thank you if you listen. Thank you if you don't. I'm just putting it out there, learning how to podcast, so that one day I'll be able to produce podcasts and get the messages that people want to get out. We live in an interesting time right now where everybody can be a broadcaster and get their message out. So, see you next time. This has been Calvin Jr. or CPJR on the Melancholy Guy. And always remember to love and respect yourself first, and everything else will take care of itself.